Hey everybody, Mark over here at Twanger's Turntable. Cheers everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to my channel if you're new. Really appreciate you stopping by. I hope you'll find something you'll dig and stick around. If you're returning, ditto. I really do appreciate you doing so and your ongoing support. It really does mean a lot to me. I do this as a hobby, but it sure does help with the motivation factor sometimes, knowing that maybe somebody's going to watch. Chances are, as it was when I started out, I would do it anyway. I just enjoy doing it, but it's nice when you do have a community out there who watch your videos and maybe support what you do. Like I try and support others. So anyway, the reason I'm here today is for another response to a thread. As I was doing in my last video, it was a thread response. Before I get back to showing my recent pickups or show and tell of vinyl finds here at Nobody's Vault But Mine, I will get back to that. If you've not seen those, I do have a playlist of those and hope to return soon. I'm just trying to pull up Nick's channel here. I did have it prepared, but my damn iPad here went to sleep. But it's yeah, it's Nick. If I got it here, sorry about this. I was prepared, but my iPad went to sleep and it's not wanting to wake up. Careful with that axe, Eugene. And coincidentally, I'm wearing a Pink Floyd shirt. That was not planned. I promise you. Where the hell are you, Nick? But it's Nick over at Careful with that axe, Eugene, which is a Pink Floyd reference. Hence, the Pink Floyd shirt I mentioned was a complete coincidence. But yeah, a long gap. His first thread, Nick's first thread. So here's Nick. If you've not been over to his channel, I'll leave a link below. Go over and check him out. Great guy. I've watched several of his videos, and I have been subbed to him for quite some time. I don't know how long. It's not like I have a database of when I subscribe to these channels, and maybe there is a way to check, but I certainly don't know how to do that. And it doesn't really matter. Once I'm subscribed, I stay subscribed unless they disappear or whatever. It's by no action of mine that I wouldn't be subscribed. But I digress. So yeah, he started a thread, Mind the Gap, referencing that, as we all do from time to time, or most of us, I would suggest, we do have gaps in times where we make a video. Maybe we're not motivated or we have other priorities. I know I certainly do. This is, like, as I alluded to, a hobby, and I make videos when I have the time. Where it is in the priority of list of things is, down a few rungs, but I do enjoy doing it, so I get a lot out of it. So I'm glad when I can make a video. But there are times where there's a gap. So the idea of the thread is, I'll leave a link so you can check out Nick's thread and respond to it, which I encourage you to do. It's a great thread. I've seen several videos, and so as soon as I saw this, I think it was Steve, the first one I saw, or I don't know, to be honest with you. That might not be fair to say that was the first, but I've seen several. And essentially, it's just gaps in the catalog of artists, bands, where it's a fairly substantial gap, or maybe not so substantial. But the idea is there's a noticeable gap, and he chose 5, so I went with 5 artists. And I think, to do it the way I've done it, is to go from the longest gap to the shortest. The last 2 are actually about the same amount of gap. I think they're about 8 years apart. And I've used compact disc and vinyl. And the other part of this thread is you don't necessarily have to have both bookends of the gap, was the way that Nick put it. But I do, with the exception of one, I have all of them. And the one I don't have, I chose the one prior to that really had the last lineup for the most part of the original. Not even the original, but the best known lineup, I would suggest, or the most part of that. Anyway, I gotta have another drink now because gotta wet my whistle. All this talking that I don't normally do has got me dry. So let's get going. I'll start with, like I say, the largest gap, and it starts with the Black Crowes. So in 2009, I only have this on compact disc. They put out this little gem, Before the Frost. until the freeze. However, this is just before the frost. When this originally came out, what they did, and I love this little booklet they did. It's like a miniature vinyl gatefold. What they did was they included a download card here, which basically you could download until the freeze portion of this album. If you were to purchase it on vinyl now, which I do have on my list to buy, you would get both, right? But at the time this was released, it was before the frost until the freeze, and this is how you got until the freeze. And it came with this little sticker in there, which is cool too. The Black Crowes, what's it say? Cabin Fever, Winter 2009. So, and it's got the cool little sleeve as well, almost a vinyl style. But that's not all, folks. That's not all. No, you get more. If you open it up, it's just like a miniature vinyl. I've seen these videos now where they're actually doing miniature 4-inch vinyl, and they're just singles, whatnot, very popular singles. I've only read about it. I have not tried them. I haven't played one, but it's really cool. And I remember buying these blank compact discs. I used to burn my own CDs, compilations, like many of us did, that had a similar theme on them, like miniature vinyl. So the Black Crowes at this time were Richard Robinson, Steve Gorman on drums, no longer with them, Christopher Robinson, the brothers there, Christopher and Richard, Sven Pippian, Luther Dickinson, and Adam McDougall on keyboards, and respectively, McDougall keyboards, Dickinson on guitar and mandolin, I guess. Yeah, mandolin, mando it says. Sven Pippin is on bass. Steve Gorman drums. Steve Gorman wrote a book a few years ago here, probably 3 or 4 years ago. So subsequently, I don't think Steve Gorman will participate in any Black Crowes in the foreseeable future. But anyway, without getting into that, this was 2000. What did I say? 2006, I believe this was. No, 2009. So that's what I was alluding to. In 2010, they also did Crowology, but I didn't count that because essentially that's just re-recording acoustically of a bunch of songs they had already released. So I didn't count that. So essentially this is their last real studio album of new material until 2024 with this bad boy, Happiness Bastards. And I would argue this is one of the best comeback albums after, like, to bookend that gap we're talking about in a long time. And the number one I actually have in my collection here as well. But yeah, Happiness Bastards, nice gatefold. Trust Us, Never Trust Us. The Black Crowes' first new album in 15 years. So they're counting the 2010. Oh no, they're not. They're not. 2009 to 2024. That is 15 years. So they're counting it the same way I am, because that Crowology doesn't count in my book either. So I'm glad we're on the same page, or I'm on the same page as the Robinson Bros. So yeah, the Black Crowes, Happiness Bastards. It's a fantastic album. If you like the Black Crowes, it's certainly a return to that early Black Crowes sound, in my humble opinion, and I really dug that sound. I still do. I like most Black Crowes stuff. So that's the first one of a gap of 15 years. The next closest gap is coming in at 13 years, and it's a little metal, hard rock, whatever you want to. Categories sometimes are dumb anyway. So, but Tool and 10,000 Days. This was 2006. I purchased this when it came out. At the time, vinyl was, almost an afterthought. Not almost. It was an afterthought, and they did release it on vinyl, but they are really difficult to find. If you didn't buy it at that time, or have a promotional copy, like I've seen some people in the VC and drool. I get very jealous when I see that, because I'd love to have it in vinyl. I really think they should reissue these. Tool, you can get a lot of, you can get most of them unofficial releases, but that's not what I want. And to get an original and an OG copy of that first run of these on vinyl is criminally expensive. But they are worth what people will pay for them. So I guess I'm not ranting about that, for damn sure. So that's 2006, 10,000 Days. And then most know, Tool fans will know, 2019, Fear Inoculum. This is the custom deluxe compact disc. Got that little screen that comes on when you open the gatefold to initialize it. I'm not going to let that play through, but it's pretty cool. You can see it online if you're curious, if you've never seen it. But yeah, for your inoculum, I've also got the deluxe box set with the etching on it. They have since done another one that I probably will get because it's just easier to listen to. It's a double LP, and instead of this one that's etched where almost every song is on a separate piece of wax. But I digress. So that's the first two coming in at, what did I say, 15 years and 13 years respectively. The next largest gap is 11 years, and I showed this one. Did I show this on my last video? I think I did. Why would I have shown it on my last video? I can't even remember. I don't watch my videos once I post them. Maybe I should to refresh my memory, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So in 1981, the second release with Ronnie James Dio, Black Sabbath, The Mob Rules, as I've mentioned. On any given day, it would be one of my top Black Sabbath albums. I just love this album. I love Ronnie James Dio, and the only thing missing from this album, sadly, was Bill Ward, but Vinny Appice, or Appice, however you want to pronounce it, sounds amazing on this. In fact, you know, it's got a unique sound of its own, his drum style, but so does Bill Ward, and hey, push comes to shove, I'm going Bill Ward all day long, but whatever. It's a great album. So yeah, this one, 1981. And of course, this is maybe cheating because Black Sabbath didn't really go away. You know, one of my favorite Black Sabbath albums came after this with Ian Gillan on vocal. Short-lived experiment with him and Tony and the boys, but Born Again, I love that album. I love that album art. That's what I showed. That album screams metal. That was my last video. That's why. It screams metal. But another one was when Ronnie came back. So that's the gap I'm talking about here. The gap with Ronnie James Dio on vocal. And Dehumanizer. So this would be 1992. I remember, I've told this story, going in and seeing the new Maiden at the time, and didn't even know Sabbath, that Dio was back with Sabbath, and saw this, and I had to get it. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily like this album. I freaking love it. I always have. It's just got that dark sound that they only had with Dio on vocal, and that's probably why the stuff they did after Ian Gillan, especially all that Tony Martin and Hughes stuff, just does not move the meter for me at all, really. I've tried, just doesn't do it. But this has got that dark heaviness to it that I just love. And of course, I don't have I'm not going into that. I'm just talking about the gap here. So this gap is 11 years with from Mob Rules to Dehumanizer with Ronnie James Dio on vocal. So that's my little spin on that gap. I hope you'll permit that, Nick. But it's all for fun. So I just do these things to put a little spin on it that makes it fun for me as well. So next up, the last two, in fact, they are the same gap between, the same amount of time between the gap, 8 years. I'll end with the best one, but before I get to that one, I'm going to go with Boston. And so this was their sophomore. Don't Look Back. It's a great album. I really do dig this album. But of course, considering what the debut did, I don't think anything they could have done would live up to that. But it is a fantastic album. Don't Look Back, The Journey. It's easy. Man, I'll Never Be. Feeling Set Aside. Party. Come on. Okay. Yeah, it used to be Bad News. Don't Be Afraid. And not the track listing of the debut, but it's a good album. And of course, Boston fans will know what would come later wouldn't be, that was 1978. What would come later wouldn't be until 1986. I mean, so that's like an 8-year gap. And it's Third Stage. It's okay. Just okay. I mean, Tom Scholes, you know, he's still doing his thing. And I think a lot of these artists are perfectionists sometimes to a fault. But there was a lot of other reasons why there was such a gap too. I mean, 8 years is almost an eternity, and in fact, almost a period of time. Any of these are almost a period of time where a generation could almost forget about you, unless you're one of those top tier bands. And Boston certainly would have been one of those throughout the later part of the 70s. So, you know, when this finally did come out in 86, I think it fared okay. I didn't look it up. I don't know what the sales numbers are on this, but starts off with Amanda. We're ready. The launch, Cool the Engines. I mean, that's a pretty good segue into the songs. I mean, My Destination, A New World, To Be a Man. I Think I Like It, Can't You Say, Still in Love, Holly Ann. So, you know, there's some kind of sappy, ballady stuff in there that I'm usually not a big fan of, but it works. It's in this album. It's definitely the theme. It works. It's not as strong as, certainly not as strong as the debut, and not as strong as the follow-up, Don't Look Back. So, but the gap there is 8 years. And another one that had 8 years, I mentioned, I don't have the actual, the bookend that starts this gap, but I picked the one closest to it, and that would be Stormbringer. You know, Deep Purple. This was released in 1974, but Come Taste the Band, that came after this, with Tommy Bolin, would have been 75, and then of course in 76, Coverdale, Hughes, and of course after this one, Blackmore was gone. That's why Bolin was on Come Taste the Band. But yeah, I don't know. I think the story goes that Coverdale in 76, you know, they played their last concert, or he played his last concert and was resigning. But yeah, Ian Pace and John Lord were already going to fold the band anyway at that juncture, without, you know, so many of the original lineup. Not even the original lineup, but, you know, the classic lineup is the way I like to put it. So yeah, this is the closest thing to that book, and I have, and I do like this album. I like all the Deep Purple albums. I'm one of those guys. I'm not a completist. I don't have them all. I'd love to get Come Taste the Band, but this is a good one. I do really like this album. So yeah, and then of course that's 74. 75 is Come Taste the Band, but then, come on, 1984. They're all back. They're all back. We've got Roger Glover, we've got Richie Blackmore, we've got Ian Gillan, John Lord, Ian Pace. So I mean, this is the classic lineup. Perfect Strangers, and to me, probably the best comeback album of all time, of an original lineup, or semi-original. I keep saying original. Yes, Deep Purple fans, I know it's not the original lineup, but to me, it's essentially the lineup. So, and what a killer album. So yeah, there's 8 years between those. So that's it. That's Mining the Gap. The response to the thread by Nick. I've watched some of Nick's videos. Got great content. He's got a great channel, so please go over and check him out. Subscribe. You know, comment on his stuff. Put out your own response to the thread. I know I'm a little late to the game because I think he did that video a couple of weeks ago, but there's my gap. Oftentimes I have gaps where I'm not around for a couple of weeks, so that's status quo for me. It's just the way it is. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed doing it. Like I said, there's another thread I want to jump on. Some of the same channels I watch were doing that thread as well. The response of 4x4 or whatever it is. I'll look into that, but I've seen a few of those, and I want to get on that one as well before I get back to my show and tell vinyl finds of Nobody's Vault But Mine. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I might be repeating myself at this juncture, but cheers, everybody. Hope to see you again on my next one. Yeah, that should be rather soon, I suspect. I'll try and get it in the next within the next couple of days, so I still have time to get in another vinyl finds video before the next crazy weekend hits, because that's usually a busy time for me with the little kiddos, the grandkids and whatnot. But this video has gone on long enough, so I'll leave it at that. Take care, everybody. See you on the next one. Cheers. That's all I'll say. Bye. It's been so long, I don't even know how to do an outro. So take care, everybody. Cheers.